Hello everyone, and welcome to a new video about poker. Today we are going to talk about 3-bet and call ranges. First of all, let's define what a 3-bet is, and when a player can do it. After a player has open raised, a second player decides to re-raise. The first pre-flop re-raise is what we call 3-bet. Now let's go to our app and find out where the 3-bet range is. Click on the Pre-flop Ranges button in the main menu. By default, the app is showing the Open Raise Ranges tab. So, we must click on the 3-bet tab to update the ranges. Now we are seeing the 3-bet call ranges. This time, the default position is Big Blind. For our example, we have to select the button position for the 3-bet. The Open Raiser's position is cut off, so we are all set. In this case, where cutoff is the Open Raiser, the button must 3-bet 11.8% and just call 3.6%. Let's review a real hand to understand better how to 3-bet. This time we are on the small blind when the cutoff does an open raise. Now we have to set up the app to make the decision. We select the 3-bet tab. Set the hero's position to small blind and the open raisers to cutoff. On this scenario, with Ace-6 suited, we can 3-bet 75% and call 25% of the time. This time, we decide to 3-bet. Now that we have learned how to 3-bet or call with the app, let's talk about extra actions. Extra actions are all the possible actions the open raiser, or another player, can do after we did the 3-bet. If you want to learn more about all the pre-flop plays or actions, please check my video about them. For a better understanding, let's review a couple of real hands with extra actions. On this example, we are in the button when UTG open raised. Checking the app, with Ace-King offsuit, we have to 3-bet 100% of the time. Then, the extra action happens, when the big blind does a cold 4-bet. UTG folds and we select Extra Actions Cold 4-bet to update our range. We can go all in 75% of the time, or just call the other 25%. On this opportunity, we go all in. Now we are in the cutoff when UTG open raises. On this case, with Ace-4 suited, we must 3-bet 100% of the time. The rest of the players fold. Then, the open raiser does a 4-bet. We update our range by clicking on Extra Actions 4-bet. The range is updated, and we must fold our hand. The next extra action, after a 3-bet, is all in. This happens when, after the button does a 3-bet, a third player, on this case the small blind, goes all in. Checking the button's range for this extra action, we can see that we can call only 2.9%. This is because a pre-flop all-in against 2-player is a really strong play. The last extra action is squeeze. This is a different scenario, because it will happen when the button calls, instead of doing a 3-bet. After this call, the small blind does a squeeze. Beside the small blind squeeze, on this case, our range will also depends on the open raiser's next action to the squeeze. We reach the end of this tutorial. If you have any comments or questions, please write a comment below.